Simple as that.
3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. It's time for a change, gotta bounce up. The oppressor's about to get tossed up. I'ma lay him out, execution style's too late for an apologetic claim. You wrapped in a cloak of blame, by God it's overdue. Your time is in the end. Locked out silent without sin. He put me on the planet for justice to win. The oppressor's about to get rolled down with suppressors attached in a war zone. Revolution can start in the Arizona. I'm a messenger prophet like Farrakhan, backed by the honorable who sits at the pinnacle, who judges the hypocritical, cynical, and the plentiful sinful. My thinking is critical. I'm just ventilating of the actions of the protected servers. Quick to pull the Glock, blast and kill. This don't take any type of skill. I'm ill of all citizens who haven't took a stand. Or kneels too late when the caps get pills. Don't believe it, GC type. But when it hits close to home, you gotta act the bone. But it got the dome when it's on the zone. All red in my vision through sight. It's killer be killed whenever I fight. From above, I be given the right. So you better be ready to ride tonight. All the way to the dawn daylight. We gon' rid them all, so gon' pass the kite. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender.
This world is such a, and when I say this world, I mean it. I don't mean in an ideal sense. I mean in every day, every little thing you do. It's such a, gimme, gimme, gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business, you want to be successful, you want to be like Trump, gimme, 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 push, 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 step, 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 crush, crush, crush. That's how it all is, and it's like, nobody ever stopped.
Watch time and space rock the great matriarch, whether it's day or dark, creates the spark, ways the heart as I sun ray my art, her make the patriarch. Most social media saviors are fakes, marks once we make knowledge one is when time and space rock. The great matriarch, whether it's day or dark, creates the spark, ways the heart as I sun ray my art, her make the patriarch. Most social media saviors are fakes, marks once we make knowledge one is when the rhyme and bass drop. I rose up, took a shower, purified my arc field, took copper for a walk to ensure my chlorophyll is pumping. Done some curls for sure, I've more to build. Solid foundation, my crown chakra core and heel. Pound the pavement, sacred ground, freedom I stand for. Free all political prisoners of war, man or woman and child. Rid the land of all foreign and alien entities. I decree this morning, send them back to whence they came. Is the peace laugh or war cry, whatever the relevant name of each path, simple, highest form, spiritualities, how you teach math, a humble beast is still a beast, now feel the beast wrath, rain fire upon them, and the internet forms, sigils, emojis, and the avatars that war them, destroy this de facto government, and its quarrels, whether it's day or dark, create the spark, ways the heart as I sun ray my art, her made the patriarch. Most social
Hey baby, what's up, Snow? What's going on, love? Oh, Slot, what's happening? What's happening? T. Hines, what's good? What's good? Delusions got you. What's going on, brother? Camille, Papa, what's happening, beloved? What's happening? What's happening? I hope y'all really pay attention today to this one. Y'all know I talk to a lot of people in service and veterans like myself. No tobacco today. ToLU'S, I think Max, all of them back in the studio, so should be some good stuff coming out. I already heard a few. I got a few of them. I'm just not playing them yet. I got somebody else. This other cat sent me some good stuff. I had to tell him, look, make sure I didn't copyright. I got a magazine dropped off of my, well, not a magazine, but a booklet dropped off of my door yesterday, so I'll show you all that in a minute. Water, I'm on the front line. Ex-Martial SWAT. I shine because of her. For she's the best part, the great matriarch. Whether it's day or dark, create this spark. Ways the heart as I sun ray my art, her make the patriarch. Most social media, saviors I face. Marks once we make knowledge one is when time and space rock. The great matriarch, whether it's day or dark, create this spark. Ways the heart as I sun ray my art, her make the patriarch. Most social media, saviors. So what's going on? Read everybody. What's happening? What's happening? Enough. 424. What's happening? What's happening? What's going on? What's going on, beloved? You already know. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna start it. It's like 6 minutes. I'm not gonna wait 10, 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Nah. I wanted to get this though. I want to get this in. Come on. Into the black light. Into the line. What's up, Blue? Into the black light. Roll Charles, black light. Yo, it was deep, right? Yeah. Into the black light. Into the black light. Yo, we back again. If you throw it in the towel, then you're back in sin. We need the Holy Spirit. Please let the chaplain in. He at the front door, chilling with the childish grin. We can now begin. Now the truth be told, we're riding on the light to let the youth get old. I got my new wire. Following the one that will soothe your soul and take your bad situation and improve your role to release your flow. I have the internet up on the TV. I was actually reading something. I don't want to be throwing out fake information, so, you know, I want to see at least what, like, New York Times, a number of different media platforms, and then go to the states. And I was doing that most of this morning, looking at all the different states and looking at the mayors and looking at a lot of things. So most of y'all are very aware that this government is fictional. It's not. It's based on legalese. It's based on whenever they say U.S., that's a corporation. It has nothing to do with the land. With D.C., it does. It has nothing to do with the land except for running y'all as an industry. Ergo, the music industry, Hollywood industry, blah, blah, medical industry, corporations. Has nothing to do with the people of the land. And they believe because they lied, because they say you're a citizen, that means that Citizen Kane, that means that all of a sudden they have titleship over you. That's a lie. They believe that crap. In the narrative they know, well, most of our people run around on this land, all land's ignorant. And I'm gonna show you why. And why people are easily manipulated. I want to point out a few things first.
Boy, I've been talking to y'all for a while. You see, you thought this was for like some type of game, man.
I really would have loved to see a lot more people here. Y'all would have had a good time. Even my boy Chet was like, you used to have people coming through all the time because they wanted to see, they wanted to, look at. Some people have bought land over here and stuff like, mid and southern Arizona and Utah. There's a lot of people have bought land, y'all, and I can't say nothing other than that. What they may be doing, they've asked a lot of questions over the years, so some of them have established themselves. Let's go ahead and get that off. All right, that was
That was Bro Blacklight. Into the Bro Charles Blacklight. So by our beloved brother. Well, let me name all of them. So that way y'all know. Okay, that was by our brother Mac B. But the other two was ToLU'S G, all right, and our brother Ocelot. Okay, Omac 12. That's what I put down. So it is what it is. We got D-Dubs. We got a few others in there. We got DJ. I told you, got a lot of music. I just don't want to run the risk. I can change it, but you know, and I've played it before because I love the Gaelic and I love the Scottish and the Irish kind of like sounds, you know, and the spoken word that he does is phenomenal. But there's a few people on TikTok who spoken word too. They be going after them like that don't make no sense. They're not saying nothing defamation or character or anything. They're just going after them because you know they're showing how highly intelligent they are. But so what I want to discuss, because you see the Red Dawn and everything, and it's not clickbait. Y'all know where I stand. I was going to actually do a breakdown of the 2012 movie, and they were being buttheads about it. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do that. But what I wanted to point out, y'all know what let me pull it up right quick. I didn't think about pulling this up. I want to build it right. Okay. Y'all know what like it always, every time I pull this up, the question is it possible to have a quadruple agent? Theoretically, you can have a double, triple, quadruple, even octal. For those who don't know, octal agent. That is somebody who's right here, works for the other side, but comes back and works here to give to the other side, right? Then you have that person that works here, is from another place, bringing information here, taking information there, but always coming back here because there was always a plan behind it. You know, it's like England when they had that island, when they had that, they set it up to make like a certain pilot had died or something like that, and they took a cadaver of somebody who's already dead and put the body out at sea. You can't make up what that is. You know what I'm saying? What was it? What was behind it? What was he doing? What was the intel? What was the see? This is where we get into this false form of we think that we're litigating something without no true knowledge, right? But as you know, I forget when it was, but I know as far as 7 days ago, up to 7 days ago, the San Francisco mayor's visit shows that she, San Francisco mayor, so you know who that is, that strengthening China-U.S. economic and trade cooperation is beneficial. Yet, you look at this, the inaugural United States Heartland Mayor delegation trip to China in country, right? Now, all this is within the last 4 years. I don't want to go beyond that, or I don't care about tomorrow, okay? So you had, I can pull all of them up, and you can look them up yourself. You have Bob Holden, Chairman and CEO, U.S. Heartland China Association. James Bernard, Mayor of Cornell, Indiana. Paul Tenhaken, Mayor of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. You got a bunch of them in there. Now, y'all already know that Adams over there in New York, he's been to China. You know that Trudeau, the bonehead in California, you know the relations, playing with the kids, toss them around like they're his own. Yet, you will hear this fake Congress, this fake conglomerate of this fake agency of government keep war drumming China and America, allowing them not once but over several times fly across America with their little balloons that look like, funny enough, the space station. But regardless of that, and they have these meetings, you know. How could you be beating the war drums? You had the little thing that happened, and then China swarmed all around Singapore. Then you know the relationship between Taiwan and all that's going on. And you hear nothing you don't hear nothing because it's like a media blackout. What's really going on? Most people didn't even know about the wars being fought in so-called Africa. We're not talking about just goofy Boko Haram with that half-witted, half American descendant of 5 or 6 generations of knucklehead Negroes over there. No, what I'm saying is there are things going on. I mean, even with Iran attacking Israeli certain infrastructure and vice versa, those are the same people. What I'm alluding to, who's really at war? Why have a whole bunch of people? You know, I mean, you see these countries, right? Islam, you know, Muslims, you see certain Jews, you see really hating America right now as if it's the people. Now, I know we have enough dumb pale skins or light skins, right? Running around, running to Ukraine, and whether it be Spanish or whatever, because I'd already looked at the list of people who have died over there fighting for the Foreign Legion, and those who are active over there. And there's a lot of these fake Jew special force cats, Delta Force, because you got to remember, they were there when it jumped off. You've got about 10, I showed you the map, 10 CIA underground structures right at the line of Ukraine and Russia. And then when it first jumped off, Russia wasn't in there. It was Ukraine killing the people, the Russian citizens who lived in Ukraine happily, just like you think about Rwanda, the Hutu and the Hutu and the Tutsis, right? The idiot agent, British familiar, you know, talking about killer cockroaches, you know what I'm saying, after formulating in a secret. But you see this, and it's like, well, why do we have to tolerate that? What most people don't know is the elite in China, they send their children here to go to school, like in England. And then they set them up in these big lofty mansions. And they run around playing, having a good time, movie theater, see you and smile. But over in China, just like North Korea, it was sad. And it's not all the people of China, man. But you gotta know, man, it's bad. And I'm gonna show you how it's done over here as well. They're taught to hate Americans. I got Chinese relatives, and I got friends who are Chinese who I adore, man. I love them to death, you know. Muslim ones back home in Newark, New Jersey, they detest everything about this government, every government in the world. But they've been in the military. But the thing is, they play the people against each other to fight each other for what? It's not like the world doesn't know they want to bring the population back down to about 500, what was it? Out of 7.8 billion to 500 million or 500,000. I don't know. The number's ridiculous. That means a major extermination campaign. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out, most people are starting to come into this knowledge. It's going to be on point of Europe and all these places. Like I said, China wasn't China. When I put out Cathay, you need to find out what the name was, but they're going to hold on to China because, you know, this fake status of whiteness, fake white supremacy that never existed. That the people in China, most people say she people, right? That's just identity purpose. That's not what they were called. They were different dynasties or dynastic periods, just like on this land. And they were melanated and pale skin and light skins. Serious. Same thing with Germany, Russia, everywhere. It was these Gujars or Chazars. I know a lot of people are having a hard time, but I showed you this Gujars. The same that people conquered Turkey in the first of this narrative from the second all the way up to this century to change the dynamics of the people and what they look like. I've been to Turkey 4 times at least. And they're the same people in Persia, so-called Iranians, so, you know, speak Farsi. And I know people, it's hard to accept that. Well, the Muslims, most people have a hard time accepting that the two religions mysteriously popped up at the same time. And the fact that the first pope was a Gujar, a Chazar, whatever you want to call him, a Jew, I don't know, okay? Just like here, who's in charge of the infrastructure and all the top brass in the military besides the tokens? Nobody wants to see how it's playing out, and you need to look the world over. How are all of them related? Well, that's a big club, and there's a lot of cult, a lot of magic, a lot of things going on that people don't know nothing about. But the Red Dawn effect, you have Chinese migrants who come here because they really want to get away from that. They've seen the worst of it. All right, I'm not saying it's over, and they will be the first to tell you there's Chinese spies that came here, that the cartels willingly brought here because they've worked out in South America and underground China for a long time. Cuba, same thing. Y'all know nothing about that, right? In Cuba. I mean, it's communist, right? Yet I have Cuban brothers who I met who come here, you know, in their teens and 20s, served in the military, and they couldn't stand them. There were times there'd be fights overseas, and there'd be Cubans whooping the hell out the Chinese guys in the military. I'm serious, guys. I'm not voicing hate for our Chinese relations, okay? In this era, you got to notice a difference. You know, we have to magnify ourselves. Ascension is important. It's imperative, all right? Regardless of what you think, you know, war and all that. Look at this. Oh, we got the eclipse, and you got those knucklehead Negroes running around. Your powers, your superpowers, Kamehameha. What, you know what I'm saying? I'm so tired of that. But people don't know, you have a choice. People just don't know how to make proper decision. You have them buying up land right close to military installations. Look at it. It's open information. And I'm not fear-mongering. I'm not saying anything about being scared. I'm not a prepper, but I'm always saying it's good to be prepared regardless of what happens. With Bill Gates buying up farmland, how did China in a year and a half become the major owners and producers of pork and beef? Why is it so important for the Zionists to create human and beef and chicken 3D printed meat in San Francisco, California, and North Carolina? Huh? Oh, it's bigger than that. Why wasn't they showing 2 places where they were working on the Chinese biological weapons when they're in every state? I just want to know, like, these little things. And I believe this is a great topic to do a podcast upon. And when you see the muddy waters and how they're playing it, throwing it right in your face, you would figure, because I still see a lot of these dumb light-skinned individuals, and I don't call them white, nor do I call them pale-skinned. I call them light-skinned, which applied to pale-skinned people, which also were black. And I don't care what y'all say. If you haven't done the research, haven't traveled around the world and talked to older folks, like me telling you that the light-skins used to call themselves crackers, and up into the 1940s, they sure did. Even when they were still teaching Tartary. Y'all didn't know that, did you? Oh, yeah. I'm not talking about the education system of the 60s, all right, when the Rockefeller Foundation established it, and the OSS, which was the CIA. I'm not talking about that. It was to manipulate the minds, right? So in North Korea, and through death and mayhem of their so-called subjects, in China, same thing, all right? Hindustan is no different. I watched a couple of videos of them killing Christians and Muslims recently. I watched real pictures of these big pot-bellied little boy-loving Hindus, and they're not the ones that I know, but a quadruple or a triple or whatever agent, you would never know it because they've been trained to do that. You know what I mean? You know how many people have went from the war who still had to fight in them, went over there to assist Ukraine? And I already broke down who Zelensky is besides a homosexual. He's a Khazar. And most of the people there. It's like me watching that woman in Ohio burning the Quran, doing that little weird little hip hula Hawaii dance. These are agents, and they're all around you. There's not a lot, but there's more than enough to sway the people. And you see what I'm saying? I watched that funny guy, Jesse Peterson, or whatever his name is. He does the interviews, and I saw that brother sitting there with the big dashiki stuff on, talking about the white man. I'm like, he's got to be about my age, maybe older. And what's wrong with these ignorant Negroes? How do they get a platform? I know it's hard to accept it, but they're agents. An agent of chaos doesn't mean that they're employed by the very government that goes out and selects individuals for certain tasks. An agent can be somebody who propagates something based on how they feel and what they think. Okay? And if they're willing to do this outside breach of diplomacy and the integral foundation of communication only to meet their agenda, that's like dealing with Kens and Karens. It don't matter the crayon color or the makeup. And we have a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? You have people call themselves trooper chiefs and tops this and that and that. And they're the worst ones within the community. But how do they get to where they're at and people really pay attention? Because most people go, oh, well, you know, I F's with that one. And I F as if that's a good thing. If you can't make a proper decision based on the hypocrisy of everything and what you can benefit something from, then you're stuck in that same place of performing like an agent. And 9 times out of 10, going against your common cores and values that which maybe you're not too sure about. So that means you're stuck in a structure of belief. That means that alludes from knowing. Knowing you don't have to have a belief. A belief is, right, it's a subplant way of thinking. It's like, well, I'm not sure, but I believe that's the direction I want to go. That's really not knowing. That's like taking a tiptoe to the tulips. And not knowing that, you know, there's vipers and rattlers every step of the way. Are we in a Red Dawn situation? Of course, we have been for the last, what, 180 years, give or take. And no one wants to see it for what it is. You know, there's stuff that y'all need to get. And I watched the UN guy in Sweden and Denmark to where they got bunkers for everybody and some. And we're talking about deep ones. Tell them to make sure that they got batteries, water, duct tape for their windows in certain areas to hermetically seal it. That was 5 months ago. 5 months ago, hermetically seal their doors and their windows at night. Radio, AM and FM, that is solar. Now, for those who aren't aware, if you have a nuclear war, it's not just the fallout, but then you have all the ash and that stuff will stay in the sky because of its contents. So solar, during the daytime, which would be a gray cloud, you would probably pull in 5 to 7%, but you would be able to charge something up. But these things, if you haven't been gathering these things, I mean, what are you really doing? There's a list of names here. I'll tell you what sites you can go to if you want to read it, just in case you want to share the information. Because y'all, you know me, I don't want to just throw everything on the table. You know, you can do the work yourself. All right, so you have http:// China space embassy, okay? CN. You can go ahead and read about the Ambassador King Gang meets with Mayor of Austin Embassy of the People's Republic of China in the United States of America. You never see the behind closed door meetings, which you're supposed to hear everything. You can go to China United States Exchange Foundation. Go to that one. You can go to the Washington Post. You can go to the WFYI. You can go to the San Francisco Standard, of course. Even the one up there that's in Canada and Alaska, Oxford Eagle. You can go to the Seattle Times. I mean, it's nonstop of the individuals, and it's a good thing for relations, but the relations aren't based on what people think. Right now, we get a lot of Chinese coming from who have been here in California, this, that, and other, or those who have stayed, and they're vacationing. But then you see them taking pictures and looking at certain buildings, and they're standing there and they're talking with their cigarettes. And anybody walk by, they move. I've watched that over the last several years, how they will be on vacation, supposedly. And you can see this fighting age male and woman. And they will stop and look at a whole shopping area and they will take pictures. And what people don't know is taking pictures is just part of a bigger plan, whether to buy it or to purchase it and allow the same people to run it and they be the magistrates behind it. But what's really happening, just like I said about the food and BlackRock and all these other big time bankers and everything, if they control the food, the canning, the slaughtering of the animals, the care and welfare, and you have the workers, as I told you, I have videos I can't vlog on here showing tall, dark men and light-skinned men slaughtering. Well, they're taking the bodies from wherever they're coming from off these trucks, literally. They're wearing big yellow aprons with gray, like the Chinese, you know, like with the big washcloths that look orange and white, and I mean, orange, yellow, and green. Everybody has a specific job. These jokers are like 6 foot, all of them, 6'5" and 6'7". I mean, they're tall, and they're grabbing these bodies. These are real people, and they're on the back of the legs, their back, and their arms, and they're actually removing everything and then taking the meat, putting it over there, and there's people taking it, putting it up on these things, processing it, and then the bones with the brain intact, unless they take the head off. You can see the cart on the side that's got the skulls with the head freshly removed. The power washers, these things are like blasting the bones clean, and they're putting it into these things that are literally the whole skull, because the ligaments, putting the whole things in there. And there's women, men, and they're real. This is not Hollywood stuff. Somebody leaked this that worked there. Okay? And there's like 4 or 5 of these videos, man. Oh, they're real, bro. And the problem is you can't really tell where it's at. And in one of the pictures, it seems like another facility. Is Soylent Green really going on? Everything has been leading up to this moment. And the fact that nobody's been impeached, and you have both parties, you have one party, the Republican Party, speaking as if all late in the game when they got all the soldiers and the terrorists here. Now the people who really don't matter because they got the soldiers here, they're talking about, well, we got to start getting rid of and locking the immigrants up. I don't like calling people immigrants on earth, but when you have the mentalities that are running around, I mean, we got people in the so-called black community, they act like some kind of immigrant or foreigner to their own soil, murdering and killing each other every damn day. It's ridiculous. This is a real issue. And these things are not only distractions, but it kind of gives you a doorway or a window, an open window into looking at why they're doing what they're doing. What is the worth of a people that don't know their true worth or find the worth of who they are? What do you do when you're a person that sits and eats with silverware and cutlery all set up with different spoons and knives and forks and your different glasses for this, that, and people who tender to your meal every time? And we're talking about the best kind of food, not this crap out here. They're literally drinking mineral water of some kind of source that is available, but you can't touch, because it's important for them to keep the poisons in you. I mean, look at cereal. Y'all ever really pay attention to the chemicals in there, write them down, and then go to Home Depot or somewhere and go and look at some of the ingredients that are being used, like paint thinner? And I'm serious, y'all. And you're feeding your children because you worked hard, or you're just so lazy, or because you're a gullible, I won't say nasty words. You're the dead, you're the walking dead. You haven't learned to, or you weren't nurtured. And I'm not blaming the people. The damage is done, and it's consistent with the individuals that's running everything. The problem is all the ones they're using to do what they do, they're going to get rid of them too. Do you see what I'm talking about? You look at how Hollywood and the music industry, how they manipulated it, and they were telling you, and nobody really listened, because it's easy to bump ahead and go and not realize that you've been hypnotized. Me and Ganja, we had a great time this weekend, man. Some of y'all, man, it would have been great to have y'all here, man. But we were watching Get Out. What was that? With the sunken place, the brother, you know, and the comedian, you know, the one comedian who did the TSA with the dog, and he had to figure out how to save him because the wife hypnotized, and you know, they were selling them as slaves, you know, sex or whatever. That was just giving you another window. You had all these movies come out, Contagion, and you know, all these different biological weapons. I expressed to you the plague, right? The Black Plague. I was like, wow, you never looked at where it was patented at. And then when you realize it was Ohio, like the Spanish Civil War, all those things, I hate saying, I detest saying it, but man-made. How about over in Jersey and all up and down the coastline with those ticks, you get Lyme disease. You know, that was man-made, right? And yet nobody's held responsible. That's like those of us in the military, especially in the Navy, who utilized AFFF. I fought 2 fires, one on America, and what was the other one that we fought? It was America. It's been a while. And it was another, I think, a carrier. Another carrier. Was it the Forrestal? We took the Forrestal around the Horn in California. Did we have a small fire? No, it was the Nimitz. No, America, we had fought a fire on that one. Because if you was PRP, you had to be close to where the nukes were, which you didn't know if they were or not. But you had to keep those bulkheads cold and wet, regardless of smoke, the fire raging. We had a fuel tube pump room blow up on one ship. I think that was the Nimitz. And so that when we had to, you know, dog zebra and everything, we had to be prepared. And Scrub X and everything, we always use triple X. And a lot of our people and CPC, corrosion preventive compound, these things are known. You're not supposed to get them in your pores, but when you're in the military and they got you working and you got somebody showing you, you just use them. The stuff's all in your hand, all oily and greasy. Your nails stay black. They don't want military personnel to be healthy. Why isn't the last 20-year war, the majority of those men's testosterone levels have taken a deeper dive than when we were in it? We have been dealing with a Red Dawn effect ever since this government was hijacked by these Gujars and all their subordinates. And it doesn't matter where you live at. It can be calm or it can be noisy. It's the same thing. You make certain people feel comfortable. You make certain people believe, because they don't know, that nothing's happening. When the picture is more broader than anybody can stroke, as far as with a paintbrush and paint, it's bigger, you know? You need to look into some of those videos. Just put in Chinese migrants expressing that there are spies here. It's pretty deep and dark. And you have people in North Korea still attempting to escape and to be killed. What was that movie with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence when they were locked up? New York, 1920s, 40s, whatever, and they were in the chain gang. And you had Bernie Mac, he had his boyfriend. You remember that character, that comedian who ran and they shot him down? When people get to that point, they don't care. And you see that, you know, suicide by a cop, suicide, self-inflicted, or, you know, and those are the people who have seen or been through something and they can't say nothing. You know, they have no belief and structure of knowing how to be able to convey these things. Now, I'm not saying this because I need your minds to be stuck there. What I'm saying is there's a whole lot of chaos and darkness in this world, and we can't consummate a relationship with it. You have to be the light that walks on the other side. And y'all know in my language is hawa and shana. All right? You have to be the breath. Okay? Because when I express to people that we make oxygen, when everybody else doesn't, they said, you crazy. I was like, oh. And then they started looking into it going, okay, it's possible, because they're not going to tell you that. And I learned that a long time ago. You know, there's a reason why they want to buy the sisters. They started stealing uteruses in Detroit. And yeah, in the 70s, 80s, they were women going in there for broken fingers and this putting them under. And next thing you know, they have a hysterectomy. And you don't hear nothing about it, right? Come on now. You got people going to get BBLs and they're getting the kidneys stolen down South America. Come on, y'all. The world is stuck, all based on an empty dollar and a false promise that people would kill to be in a position of power that ain't for power at all, because when it's said and done, they have their teams. They'll get rid of them in a heartbeat. They've got craft. They've got equipment. They got things that can pop up off the ground and levitate and fly up, you know, 400 or 500 feet, maneuverable, easy. Are y'all looking at the Rocket Man from England? That ain't nothing. They're showing you that because they got stuff 20, 40, 50 years ahead of that. Nobody really is able to put these things together. And yet y'all sit there, you don't listen to this. I can't say everything on here. When I make an invitation for people to come through, it's because there's a lot of things, and I'm not going to sit there and just talk with one person about it. And God will tell you, I share tea all the time. But y'all take it upon yourselves to make bad choices. because you allowed yourself to be perverted by the perversions they created in this world. So you can't see past it. You get into this foundation. I mean, look at Straightway, right? Hebrew movement. I guess you could call him the so-called Paris or whatever. You know, he's built up all these communities and everything. And that can't go to your head, or you really could see it's a place for you. But then you see when certain people are let go, regardless of how it happened, you never get the truth of the story. But you'll see the people come to tear him down. And if you really take a good look, anybody willing to talk against Pastor Dow for 8 hours and get those disgruntled people to come over and venerate hate and contentment, those are agents. For those who can smell, that means you can actually hear. When I say smell, it doesn't mean necessarily I smell smoke or fire, smoke or barbecue. When I say I smell, is the way I process a thought. It's like ringers going off, and I don't label people right away. I look at them and then I study them. And then I see certain the thing about I still study books of sociology. And I've taken them and utilize them as little instruments so I can see things and perceive things a little different. That doesn't mean I'm going to react the same way to everything. Maybe a guy right here wanting to shoot me in the head, but you better believe he better be as fast as possible. And I've already made the note. So the skill, what they call paranoia, to me, it doesn't mean you're catty and all over the place. Of course, CIA, they want people like that, if y'all weren't aware of it. That paranoia, you can hone it to where it's just being acutely aware. Now these days, people think they have to dumb themselves down. And that means they're going by what the system is propagating. They believe they have to dumb themselves down not to be seen or perceived. Now, you should always be dangerous, regardless. But don't hold that with you in how you look at things. Because if you do end up leaving here, you manifest that over in that side you want to consider the light. And that's something that stays with you. You've got to change this. So me putting up the thumbnail, Red Dawn, and me pointing these little things out, these little tangible things that you can search yourself. And you may see a whole lot more. You may see something totally opposite. It's good to be able to see those things. Now, for those of you who are kind of touchy or whatever, a little emotional, and your feelings you're more relevant, I guess increased feelings, I would say don't go jetting into that direction. Let it be, because it adds more anxiety. It adds more problematic way of processing stuff. We don't need to walk around with hate. We don't need it. When our ancestors used to fight, they would become war. They didn't sit there, standing over the body. I told you, you little ain't no ego. It's something that had to be done. You get what I'm talking about? It's like for those of you who, when I made my tea, I have to boil the water, right? It has to be done in order to have a hot tea. Okay? And if I want cold tea, I still have to boil the water, do the steeping for 3 to 5 minutes, fix it up the way I want it, and then put it in the freezer for about 25 minutes. You see, things have to be done a certain way if there's a need or a want for it. I felt like the warnings going out overseas, the fact that the majority of the food industry around the world don't utilize the crap that's in the food here should be a big time, sticky note, okay? A few of them that you're supposed to be able to see because you put it in a place for you to look at them as a reminder. The majority of people haven't prepped for anything. I love the fact Curamio, he did a video showing his garden and everything. I think that's great. And there are those of you here who have some land and you've been gardening, you got yourself ready for this time around. But how ready really are you? Another issue, because a lot of us have forgotten what You know how I feel about the word love, but that internal bond that we have with ourselves, we've forgotten the importance of it. But it can also be hampering, especially when you haven't walked in the truth of it. Love. All right. That if 20 people were to show up at your door after bombs went off and you were still standing and you had your iodine pills and you're a little sick, but you knew you were going to be better off. Well, these people come with ragtag clothes and the skin's a little seared from the radiation. And a lot of you wouldn't know what to do. And a lot of you, because of people that look like you, would think when you're injured that going up to someone, they would help you. The way the world is right now, this so-called part of Earth, no, it's just more bodies. And what they do with them, you should be able to tell today where people's mindset is. And they didn't get there on their own. Every time I watch children playing, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, and how they meet and the love, that's those are tear jerkers. I purposely look for those videos because we have forgotten to keep a child's heart. And people think keeping a child's heart means that when you become a man or a woman, you put away childish things. Well, childish things is a behavior issue. All right. You're being nurtured by broken people. All of us have been. I don't care how much love was there and how much less. All right. But the issue is we're not cultivated or nurtured to be able to deal with that. That means incapable of the truth of so-called love. Everything that is what in the eyes of love today is some form of tangible thing. Now I watch people when the sons buy their father a car, and that's beautiful, right? Or when the husband hands the wife a key and takes the blind off her and she sees the beautiful house. Surprise, right? Those are tangible. And we think that's love. And I'm not saying it's not. There's more meaning to those physical things than it is just knowing that you have sons and daughters and mothers and fathers and cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents and greats, and being able to have a conversation and talk about stories passed down about your great, great, great grandma. Those things are lost because we've been caught up in the purgatory of this false existence. We have been in a Red Dawn event. And now it's being shown a little more. And I have no issue in it. If you are a person that believes in religion, that is a foundation. That is a stone to step over. And it's not a bad direction. Just be mindful of those you're listening to. Assert yourself further in the readings to elevate yourself. Remember, I always talking about that movie Powder, the little pale, the little albino kid, bald head, who's able to do fabulous things, but at the right time without nobody knowing, healing the deer, this, that, and other, or transferring the pain from something dying to the living to show what because they don't know. He runs and like a bolt of lightning from the ground is lifted up to become part of everything. See, and that's in the physical. You must not just know that you rose this AM. It's not just one thing to say ascend. When you've been descending, being raised instead of rising, being raised, being torn down from your coming into this world, it's been set up like that, sadly, in a very short time. You have to really put in some work, people. And what did I say? The two most powerful weapons is time and patience. You don't have that much time. And patience is about ran out. And a lot of y'all haven't even cultivated and worked on time and patience. I'm not throwing any slide. I'm speaking on facts. I know they're facts because I talk with a lot of people. I've addressed it with myself. Okay? That's why it's paramount. You have to let fear itself. You can't get your brain caught up in to saying something and then formulating it, because it's energy. You really put off energy on how you think, what you think you know, how you perceive things, the wants and needs. You manifest, and the enemy knows this. Sometimes they don't want to do things of certain things because they've already done their part, and they just let you manifest that energy, and they know how to utilize it. They know how to utilize it, maybe not to the fullest, but you all manifest. I guarantee you can get 1 million people together and have them think about a boogeyman, right? And by the end of the week, the boogeyman will show itself. I can give many examples, like how many you've been up in the bed after watching, back in the 80s, right? Watching that dang Omen, with the girl with the cross, what was it called? The head turning, with the exorcism, all right? Exorcist. Y'all know y'all heard something up under the bed, and then you peek, and ain't nothing there, and you come back up and you hear it again. And you're like, you're manifesting. Destination manifest. And you don't know how powerful you are because you haven't been nurtured. I think that I may be assisting in some form of nurturing, that you really can make things happen. But what's the first distraction? It's always going to be about, and you see it. You want money, you think it, and you speak it, you write it down, and you'll get money. Bro, how about getting your butt about a heart and the lies of life that you live in? How about manifestation of destiny being something that's truly steeped in love? That's why I have no problem with people who read the Quran or the Torah, or the Bible. It's stop listening to people misinterpret, because when you hear the interpretations, most of the time it has nothing to do with the Bible, but how a person lived. How many of y'all sit up at church and the guy says, yeah, I used to be a drug addict, and I used to gamble and carry the stick, sleeping in cars in the abandoned parking lot, and okay, that's your story. And some people will say, oh man, he's just telling the story. But see, that's energy. And many people have went through it, and it's hard for people to let go. Why is he not just reading? And then you get the ones who jump around because you have to, but that's because they choose not to pull up the Apocrypha and get deep into the Apocrypha where they get all the books. And I've read a couple of Apocryphas, right, that didn't have Bella and the Dragon, and which is based on a true story. It has nothing to do with the way it's whitewashed and everything. And for those people who literally, let's say Sunday school, anyway, for those people who literally study by the word, if you really apply it, don't become fanatical, because that's energy, and you will manifest that manic over how you said you've seen it, but you become maniacal in it. You know what I'm saying? It could be even depression, because you've lost things. And you're looking in the Bible to seek comfort without knowing that grabbing the Bible alone, if it's based on truth, right, as you perceive it, should be enough just to touch it, like touching the hem of Jesus's, I say skirt. All right? I'm just saying. Okay? But his linen is just a touch. Now I can see, you know what I mean? We have so little faith because we have been encroached upon and encircled with destruction, hate, poisons and toxins of all kinds. The fear, everything we see is fear and war. How many of y'all play video games and every time you turn around and something about shooting arrows at a dude hanging, and the arrow hits him and kills him and the bad guy, or blowing up stuff, or tanks moving around and jets flying, and it's all, you know what I'm saying? I got the games, you know what I'm talking about. That's energy. You get that gut intuitive, right? That gut instinct, and you're up here processing, and you think that you're processing as you. You haven't even learned how to be you. This stuff is real. And a lot of you haven't taken the initiative to get yourself situated at all. How many of y'all watched The Angry Prepper in New York, the ex-firefighter? And then you got the ones who clickbait, and this is happening right now, and then you get over there and they're talking about a bunch of goofy, and it's because you got a bunch of people who are goofy who want to listen to that. It's not about reason or rationale. And then you have the people who prep. Like, I'm going to go on a national net syndicated, TV show. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to show you this big castle I built, my children, and all the little gimmicks and everything I got all around it, and the guns I have, and the ammo, and we're still building this. And then people going, the wolf preppers are going, oh, so that's, okay, that's in Arkansas. Oh, that's in Nebraska, huh? Oh, let's ride down there and let's go and meet them. And they're like, oh, at least we know where it's at. We can get a 20-man team. We can run that place down. I'm just saying. Y'all see my little, that ain't nothing. People own guns all across America. The thing is, do you know how to use it? I watch videos of people being gunned down in Africa and in certain countries. I'm not here to put them all out. Who are old and young. And they're unarmed. And I watch how these soldiers pull them around, taking the women in the back, a machete, throwing the babies off the cliff. Excuse me, I didn't mean to go so through. And this is, we're talking about today, people. All right? And you have these idiots who get a little BDUs and get trained up. And they want to go fight. And they don't know the damage, the destruction they're doing, but they're supposed to be so smart and high IQ. You can't make this stuff up. And our people, though they have fight in them, have forgotten how. Everything's based on an emotion and a feeling. The young men running around with the mentality of a female, but a broken one. And women running around so unsure because there's not really true protection. It's just more feelings and emotion. And that damage is just, like I said, we've been in the Red Dawn effect. And they don't have to all out attack. They could just put you in a position that when you close your eyes or go to sleep at night, they don't open again. Because you're not powerful. You haven't tapped into it. You don't see the things that have been done. And if you do, can you see it without worry? Because worry is another problem that's been created with all this stuff, this darkness. Now there's light. There's light. There's plenty of it. It's just that the lights are so dim. You know? They're all playing a part in it. Every one of them. And as long as they keep putting on a show and having people go fight with each other, nothing will ever really get done. Everybody will be sitting there. They'll be just looking at what they see. The sponge will absorb it, and then they'll choose a side. Or they'll say, well, I'm just riding the fence. Everybody's playing a part because there's nobody nurturing you how to walk away from it or call it for what it is without getting emotional. See it for what it is and say, not today, baby. And then make sure other people who are like-minded see it as well, because they can influence other people who aren't. You might not be able to influence everybody. I can't influence everybody. It was bad enough people just knowing that my name was Lucifer. A name. Because they could have used, it could have been Lucifer, could have been P. Diddy. It could have been Chucky. It could be anything they want to make it. And they did. They chose Lucifer. They gave you Jesus, and the form of the Jesus they gave you is nothing but a complete fabricated lie. And most people can't even let go of the word Jesus because they made this word mean this. And they said this is from antiquity. This is where it comes from, when that's felonious. Jesus has always been the name of many individuals. What creator would create you and not give you everything you need, even to go against and fight back against that which is darkness? I know I give you scenarios, okay? We could all be looking at ourselves to see what we want to get rid of in the true existence. It can be a number of things, you know? And if you haven't, be careful, because you might one day go and buy $200 worth of water, and every bit of that water might have some little medical experiment in it. I don't know. I'm saying it's not like stuff ain't in the water now. I mean, they tell you now to get PBA-free plastic containers, which are hard as rock. I got them, and they're dark. But then you go to get the water, and you don't have the big $6,000 and $10,000 water treatment facility built into your house to not only purify but mineralize it, what most of these very rich individuals have. They poison the water for a reason. They poison the food for the reason. Are you aware that everything they put in this food, remember y'all, I read that? I'll read it again, okay? Tomorrow morning I'll come on, I'll read it again. Where it talks about everything they're putting in the food is illegal. But because they feel like you're dumb and you are a product of them, we are not, the autochthonists are not. But because of our ignorance of our 60s parents who are 17 and 20, having the greatest, gayest time of their lives, well, we have been subjugated to that perversion, to cut us off, to make us age a little quicker, okay? And everything else you could think of. It's not like they didn't know what they were doing. Now, the handlers and the people in the hands working, they may not have necessarily known we've got to inoculate these children. Polio and da-da-da-da-da. Well, where did polio come from? SARS, all of them. There's nothing natural about any of them. Well, they're natural in the state that they were created, but there's nothing natural as far as the order. Well, y'all got another week. This weekend, next weekend, for those who can, come on through. Come on through. I have to have the audience. Like I said, usually 10% get it. I believe that I can reach everybody that comes, because I'm not sure, so I don't know. Not supposed to. You have choices. That's what you call your freedom of will. But when your will don't know nothing, you think you're going to benefit yourself by making a choice for it if you don't know? Anyway, we'll be reading today. I just wanted to come on and throw that around. A lot, like I said, don't take my word for anything. Do your research, see what you find. We Indians is fine, but you're more than that. And if the people out there that want to argue about who you is and try to tell you who you are when they don't even know who they are, don't entertain that. Unnecessary. Me, I just say, yeah, you ain't done nothing. You ain't invented nothing. You ain't built nothing that could last or stand. Yet we did. And they had to blow that stuff up. So what did you do? Oh, you're a mechanic, huh? Okay. You race cars, and you're very good at it. Okay, it's not like we have those halls where we used to take all our people and put them in and train them and everything, because our people knew all that. No, they had to bring war. We had to make decisions, and a lot of times we poorly chose the decisions that were made. And so we went to war with each other. And also there were those who were good, so we fought against those who were making bad choices because they didn't want to listen. And that was the fracturing of our society. But it wasn't done overnight. When you have people, double agents, triple and quadruple, so on, right? When you're not moving like that, even if they can be seen, based on perception, right? They get their work. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this calamity, the state we're in. Right? I mean, think about it. So if y'all find anything, come back in the video once it's uploaded and throw the comment in there. And if it's real good, I'll pin it. I'll make a post. I'll screenshot every one of them and make a post. Some of you can go live, and some of you can upload videos. You got channels. This stuff is paramount because people are not getting themselves. They're still holding on to all this animosity and energy of anger and hate, and nobody's holding them accountable, telling them that that's not going to solve anything. There are those who are going to be lost. Nothing you can do about it. That's not your focus. All right? A lot of you got children. A lot of you got brothers and sisters and relatives who listen. The ones that don't, maybe they'll hear it and then they'll change face. But repent ain't going to do a damn thing. You either forgive yourself or you don't. All right? That's how you move forward. And all that religious. I'm not knocking it. If that's the term you use, so be it. But repenting don't do a damn thing. You have to forgive yourself. How can you forgive somebody and you haven't forgiven yourself for allowing it to happen, or the fact that you was unaware, but now you are? So you keep moving forward, because once you forgive yourself, you let it go. It doesn't mean you don't remember. It doesn't mean that you can't get caught up in it. But you can't repent to something you know nothing about when you don't even know who you are. Okay? Take the time, not just to walk in the shoes you put on, but learn, nurture one another and yourself to learn how to walk steadily in who you are. You all need to have an eternal bonding. That means to be bonded. You know what bonded means, right? I ain't talking about that. I'm going to bond them out of prison because that's based on fiduciary. That's all monetary. But I'm talking about like that parts A and B that go together and it creates this substance that's hard as concrete. You know what I'm saying? And make it eternal so that way it's never lost. That you don't have to always think about it because you actually walk in it. That's what true love is. If you want people, for those who still want to use this magical word called love. When I say the world is backwards, reversed, upside down, and inverted, it's not a game. In this language, even if you learn how to speak legalese, there's still two other ways this language can be spoken. And they know that most people in the world don't know that. Most people aren't walking etymologists or into linguistics to know the truth of a word. I can't believe it. Still got people running around talking about Santa Claus. And first time I was sitting there with a friend of mine back, I think it was 1984. We was at school at the Rand building, the School of Performing Arts. And I said, Santa Claus. That's not. And I know people thought of it before, but it hit me that day. We know the devil's a trickster, right? As far as the narrative. And when he messed the words up, Satan's claws. And y'all know that. Y'all remember I read the lyrics to Red Hot Chili Peppers? Californication. Read the lyrics of a lot of these songs, y'all. Listen to what they're saying. And you'll be sitting there saying to yourself, whoa. You know, that's like for all you people who love Diddy. First we was lovers, like playing under covers and thought you was my girl. You know what I'm saying? You see that's jumping around all over the place. It's funny, but the reality, because everybody knew something about Diddy, especially from New York or Jersey or whatever, right? It was like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? But everything that's going on shouldn't be happening, but it's happening because everybody's participated or partook in it, or they give energy to it, not knowing that they don't have to focus or see it for what it is. You don't need to, you know what it is. You don't have to give any energy. This world they have created is like, I'm serious. You're the batteries. You charge this crap up and you create it. You manifest it in thought. So how do you find the purity of mind? Well, you got to start walking in the purity of mind. You know, like I said, I'm not a religious person. I'm not into that crap at all. But for those that are, then utilize it. Don't let it be a waste. You know, if it's hard to break free of it, and know that all the religions were created that way to keep you away from its truth, that it's you. And to be righteous, you should walk in that. It's not complicated or hard to walk righteously. Is it? I would say start walking in it now, right this very moment. Okay? Doesn't mean that you don't protect, defend, or stand. But something's going to give. All right? We'll shout y'all out. What was it? Truth, forgive, and love. Yes, I agree. Definitely. What else came up in here? Oh, I got your herbo. I got you right, beloved. There we go. Snow. I got your yeah, you already know, brother. You already know, beloved. Hey, Craig, what's going on? Yes, it was invaded. You got that right. Yeah, chess players will sometimes sacrifice their queen or other major pieces. Yeah, they will sacrifice 3/4 of the people to accomplish something. They've been doing it for sure. Exactly, yes. Movie called Life. That was it with Martin Lawrence and that's a goofy movie, man. That movie had me rolling. Yeah, that's it. Life. That's it, baby. Hey, Alicia, what's going on? What's going on, Alicia and Cooper? What's happening, beloved? What's cracking? It's good to have y'all up in here anyway. I hope y'all got a little something. Charles, what's going on, beloved? That's right. And we got to take care of them children too. You know that. You already know, man, for sure. Yeah. American Indian, Starstruck. What's going on, beloved? What's happening? What's happening? And Tudor and Torby, beloved, how's it going? Appreciate it. Anyway, I hope that's something. I hope that's something y'all can work with. I would love to see some of the stuff y'all gonna put out there, because you know I run through everybody's channels and gotta get you. I don't like saying that word prep, but y'all need to do something. I'm not saying, look, if you are and you have been, cool. I hope you've been working with people around you, because that builds a wall. I mean, if they drop something overhead and they just blow you out and it's 100, 200 foot crater, what you got to worry about? Nothing, right? I'm not being dark humor here. I'm just being straightforward. Well, I've seen it. I know how it goes, man. You can have the best plan and, you know, and it'll be 1,000 years and we come back and we're going, is that my brain chip? Is that part of my skull fragment right there? That's oh, okay. No, that's okay. That's been too long. That's gone. It's dust. Okay. I'm just saying. All right. I appreciate y'all coming in. I hope it was a little informative. I didn't want to say everything. It's a lot of stuff. I think it would be great for a podcast. But we got some work to do. And like I said, not this weekend, the following weekend, If y'all can, come on. Because I'm definitely gonna have the open house. I'm selling everything. Music, sound, surround sound, DVD players, everything's going. All the stuff that I have. Everything. All the widescreen TVs, everything. The furniture, it's all got to go. Except for my firearms, because I like working in my welding equipment and mask and kung fu uniforms. I like to put on a different one every day, and my books. And Alexander, my apologies, he just looked at me like I was retarded. He looked at me like this. You know you coming. I'll put your ass in that basket. But anyway, everything's got to go. So I just want to get people here. You see this man cave. It's not dirty. I ain't dirty. So it's not cluttered. It's just books. As you see right here, my books stay here because there are days when I'm like, and I go upstairs, I look behind my bed, and I got stacks like a row. I can put my mattresses on books, right? And I was like, because I like to read. Do something that you can utilize, okay? And focus your thoughts and that energy in a direction that is beneficial for all. All right. I'll see y'all in a few hours because we do got some reading to do. Okay, my beloved sisters, my brothers. It's always 2 in 1. All right. And I'll see y'all here in a few hours.